Kilimanjaro Safaris. My name is Zach. I'm your driver and safari guide for the next 2 weeks out here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Don't worry though, time flies out here in Africa. It's going to feel like 20 minutes between you and me. A couple important safeguarders before you get going though. Please make sure that at all times you're main seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the trunk at all times. Parents, please watch your kids, and kids, please watch your parents. And as our kids are lap seating, that's fine. Just make sure you stay seated on the same lap the entire duration of the safari. And please remember, they're not Baby Simba. You're not Rafiki. This is not the Lion King. Do not listen up to those animals, so to stay seated. Be sure that we hang on tight to any purse belongings to. If anything does fall out of the truck, I will not be able to stop and grab it. And it won't come back in the exact same condition that you lost it in either. Just be sure to let me know. I'll get it back to you as soon as possible. Also, my friends, please do not holler, whistle, yell, bark, make kissing noises, make snoring noises, call those animals in any way, shape, or form. They are real, live, wild animals. The only thing that's going to do is the truck and make them part of the spot. It's not going to bring you any closer like you think it might. We're currently the guests going to their homes, so anything that you wouldn't want to guests to do in your home, please do not do in theirs. Bring it here for just a minute or two. Once we get the all clear from the warden, we will make our way into the reserve and see if we can go inside. As this is first ever safari today. Yeah, congratulations, welcome aboard. Any of you been here before? You guys made it back? Wow, that's a new one. Also, my friends who've been here before, welcome back. My friends whose first safari this is, I can 100% guarantee this will be the best safari that you've ever been on. You've only been on the one. I recommend towards the first section of the reserve here called the Little Ituri Forest. Out here in the forest, animals tend to rely on camouflage to disguise themselves from predators, so sometimes they can be a little bit harder to spot. We'll just keep our eyes out though, so you can find nearby. We do tend to have some pretty great luck out here. It seems that night though, this is going to be continuing. There's a few influence species off here to the left-hand side. The light brown sandy-coated antelope, no horns, those are called greater kudu. The dark brown orange antelope, long tan horns, those are called bongos. And to the right-hand side is an okapi, dark brown animal, black and white stripes that might look a bit like a zebra's. But despite those black and white stripes, though, they're actually not related to the zebra. Their closest tongue relative is the giraffe. Okapi have a long purplish-black prehensile tongue, just like the giraffe, which grows to about 16 to 18 inches long. It's long enough that if they wanted to, they can actually lick their own eyeballs. I know it might sound a little gross, but don't lie. If your tongue was that long, you'd want to try it too. I know I would at least. Those bongos there, they're also known as the ghosts of the forest because of how they're seen. And both male and female bongos grow the horns they have. The greater kudu, on the other hand, only males who grow horns. The ones that we see here we know are all females. The greater kudu, however, is one of the tallest species of forest antelope, growing to about 55 to 58 inches tall just at the shoulder. I'll keep on heading through the forest here, see what else is out there. Way off to the left-hand side, there's a black rhino way up against that rock wall. Now, whether you can believe it or not, the black rhino is actually the smaller of the rhino species that are here in Africa. They grow to about 2,600 pounds fully grown, so small is relative. Black rhinos also have a prehensile, triangular-shaped upper lip, which helps to grab leaves off of bushes and tree branches in order to eat. Unfortunately, they are an endangered species. There's less than 5,000 black rhinos left in the wild. They're poached with their horns, which some cultures believe have medicinal properties, although scientifically we have not been able to find any. Rhinos' horns are actually the same materials that our hair and fingernails called keratin. As a sort of anti-poaching measure, about the process, we can dye a rhino's horn a bright pink color. It doesn't do any sort of harm or damage to the animal. Helps dissuade poachers while you take their horns from them, helping to save their lives out in the long run. Coming up to the left-hand side here, though, are a couple of saddle-billed storks. Those tall black and white birds have to carry. They can name the yellow piece they have on the top of their bills. It looks a bit like a saddle. And they can grow around 5 feet tall, lengths and around 9 feet long. If you take a look at the canopy above the truck from side to side, that's just about how long their wingspan can get. Saddle-billed storks will also mate for life, and you can tell the difference between a male and a female based on their eye color. Males have brown eyes, and females have a bright yellow. We're going to start making it out of the forest, though. Head out towards the Safi River, so you can find out in that direction. Out on the river is going to be a great place to find some aquatic wildlife. What we want to look for is any sort of dark shadows in the water, maybe some bubbles popping up here and there. That's a pretty great sign of animals here around us. Not much activity out here quite yet, but we'll still keep a lookout. I mentioned looking for shadows because hippos will spend about 16 to 18 hours a day inside the water. They normally only come up out of the water at nighttime, or it's cooler out, such as late afternoon to early mornings to graze riverbanks. And they can spend a full 8 minutes underneath the water, fully submerged, before they come up for another breath. Wow. It looks like there's some off the left-hand side here, back behind that island. Pretty easy to spot. On average, adult hippos like that one will eat about 80 pounds of food every single day. That's also the same average weight of baby hippos whenever they're born. A group of hippos is also called a bloat. A bloat of hippos. Also off the left-hand side, that center island out there, those larger white and those light gray birds, those are called pink-back pelicans. They've been named for their mating season when the skin of the back so flush with a bright pink color. And they're very colonial birds. They nested pairs of between 20 to over 500 of them in one group. And a group that was also called a pod of pink-back pelicans. The pink-backed pelican is one of the 8 living species of pelican. The pelican is one of the oldest genus of birds, dating about 40 million years ago, close towards the age of the dinosaurs. It's probably the closest thing that we're going to see a dinosaur out here on the reserve today. Looks like I said corrected though. To the left-hand side here, there's some Nile crocodiles out on the shorelines. Crocodiles are exothermic animals, means they get their heat from outside sources. They don't make it themselves. Just like any other type of reptile, they are cold-blooded. The Nile crocodile is named after the Nile River. They were first discovered. They don't just live there though, they live all throughout Africa. They've even been known to swim out to the open ocean if they so choose. On average, Nile crocodiles can grow over 16 feet in length, weighing well over 500 pounds, and swim speeds around 22 miles per hour. It may not sound very fast. When you put it in perspective though, it definitely is. Michael Phelps, Olympic gold medalist swimmer, sitting right around 4 miles per hour, so 22 is no joke. Despite all that, though, they are some of the best parents in the entire animal kingdom. When crocodiles first lay their eggs, they'll hold them on the inside of their mouths to incubate them and help them grow. When it gets closer to time for those eggs to hatch, they'll roll around the inside of their mouths. Sort of pre-cracks those eggshells makes it easier for babies to come out as soon as they're ready to hatch. We're going to start heading out towards the savannah, which is the largest section of the reserve. There's also a lot of tree coverage out there, so instead of relying on camouflage, mostly rely on their safety in numbers, as well as their speed to outmaneuver predators. To the right-hand side here is one of the most important types of tree on the savannah, called the baobab tree. And baobab trees have a few different nicknames too. About 9 months out of the year, all the branches on that type of tree will be completely leafless. That makes it look like their roots are up the ground, giving them the upside-down tree. During the dry season though, baobab trees will store gallons and gallons of water on the inside of their trunks. Animals with tusks and horns will come up and puncture holes in the bark, then drink the water that's on the inside. It's kind of like taking a straw instead of a giant wooden juice box. And that gives those trees the second nickname of the tree of life. Baobab trees are a fruit-bearing tree as well. They'll produce a citrus fruit similar to a lemon or an orange, and local cultures make a drink that's sort of similar to lemonade. Speaking of life, though, we're in great luck everything stands already. To the right-hand side, there's a Hartman's mountain zebra out there in the shade. Also kind of have some wildebeest out here, light gray animals, thin black stripes, small black colored horns. And there are 3 different subspecies of zebra, all with different types of stripes. That's how you can tell the difference between each one. Hartman's mountain zebras, their black stripes don't continue on their bellies, they have a plain white belly. They also have a couple light brown markings at tops of their heads and around their noses. Zebra stripes are also unique to each individual animal. Within 15 minutes of being born, baby zebras will memorize their mother's stripes, pick her out from the dazzle. A group of zebra is called a dazzle. Of those wildebeest there, they're some of the largest herding animals in the world. A group of together herds over 1.5 million of them. It's the second largest group of animals in the world, thanks to all the humans put together in larger herds. Alright, you jump on an animal den here to the left-hand side. It's a good place to find some predators. It looks like there's some African painted dogs out here. Orange dogs, black and white markings, long white tips on their tails. African painted dogs are named after their painted patchwork-like coats they have. They're unique to each individual animal, and they're some of the successful pack hunters in all of Africa. 4 out of 5 times, they successfully chase after their prey. It's due to incredible teamwork and their stamina. They're going to chase their prey down until they drop from exhaustion to catch them. African painted dogs are also not related to hyenas. They're not even part of the same family of animals. Hyenas are part of the Hyenidae family, whereas painted dogs are considered canines. They're more closely to trapper house pets and foxes than they are hyenas. They're actually technically an offshoot of the wolf family. African painted dogs are also a female-dominant species. Even the lowest-ranking females in their pack still rank higher than the highest-ranking males. Way off to the left-hand side there's a sable antelope, dark brown antelope, white markings, long gray-colored horns. And also a side giraffe here at the left-hand side, too. The sable antelope is sort of the unofficial emblem of the Huron Wildlife Reserve. We picked them in particular because they're in the wild. They're forced into a fight-or-flight response. 9 times out of 10, they'll hold their ground and fight, using the long horns that are on tops of their heads. They're especially good at fighting attacks from behind them as well, since they are pointed backwards. We can tell that one was also a female based on the coloring of her coat. She was much more of a chestnut brown, almost mahogany color, whereas male sable antelope are almost pitch black in their tone. And just like different types of zebra have different stripes, different types of giraffe have different spots. That's how you can tell the difference. Maasai giraffe like these ones are known for having the darkest brown spots of all the giraffe, as well as the thickest of those light yellow tan lines between their dark brown spots. Their spots are all more jagged and sharp in all the corners, maybe like pointy puzzle pieces. We'll get a good look at a few more of them coming up here on the right-hand side in just a second or two. Another great look at the wildebeest there too as well. They stand in 2 different types of weights about 10 pounds. During the daytime, wildebeest live in a circle, all facing outwards. Couple stay weight, keep track of any predators nearby. At nighttime, though, they'll sit a big long line all shoulder by shoulder in case one of them wakes up for any reason. The rest of them do, like a huge chain reaction. Fantastic with the rest of these Maasai giraffe here to the right-hand side, though. Giraffes will spend about 16 hours a day just eating. They only sleep about 30 minutes every single day, so you should break up with a couple of minute long naps rather than something a full 30 minutes in one go. More often than not, giraffes also sleep standing up. When you're as tall as a giraffe is, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to lay down and to stand back up. So nobody don't do that. Some reserves like this one, as well as in zoos, and you feel completely comfortable if there aren't any predators nearby. To the left-hand side here are a few eland, that light gray and light tan antelope. They are the same species. And the eland is one of the tallest species of antelope in the world, growing to about 6 to 8 feet tall just at the shoulder. They also have a 6 to 8 foot vertical leap. During their mating season, male eland will take their horns, run them through the dry grass that is nearby. They'll make themselves a sort of flower crown, then prance on its nose in order to try and find a mate. Look very handsome while they're doing that, I'm sure you all can imagine. To the right-hand side, underneath the shade of those trees, are some Ankole cattle. Reddish-brown cattle, white markings, long tan-colored horns. You can see their horns sticking up. The Ankole cattle are some of the only domesticated species here in the reserve. Also within the Watusi cattle, after the tribe that first domesticated them. They're known for those huge horns that they have on the tops of their heads. Despite their large size, though, those horns are very lightweight. Made of a honeycomb-like structure, a bunch of air pockets inside of them, and blood runs to the tippy top of their horns. They work the same way that a radiator works for a car, helping cool them off during hot days like today. The Ankole cattle are also seen as a symbol of wealth in Africa. The more of them that you have, the wealthier that you are. At night, farmers will herd them together into a circular structure called a boma, to keep them safe. Boma is a Swahili word that means safe place. Now we're going to take a quick detour off this minute here, though. Head out towards elephant country. We'll see you can spot over in this direction.
Right here.
And just off the right-hand side there is an African elephant. Now we can tell this is an African elephant for a few reasons. First and foremost, we are in Africa. And second, we can tell because their ears. African elephant's ears are much larger than their cousin the Asian elephant. They're also shaped sort of similar to the continent of Africa. To the left-hand side, too, are some mandrills. Mandrills are the largest species of monkeys. Males weighing about 100 pounds and females weighing between 30 and 40. The brighter the blue and red markings are on male mandrill's face and hindquarters, the more dominant they are within their troop. A group of mandrills is called a troop. Mandrills also have little pouches on the inside of their cheeks, which they can use in order to store snacks for later, not like a squirrel or a chipmunk might. I'm fairly certain that African elephant there is a male African elephant. When the elephants reach adulthood, they'll split into two separate herds. A family herd may be adult female elephants and children, and a bachelor herd may be just the adult male elephants. So since there's only the one here, no others nearby, especially children, I'm fairly sure that that one is a male. Unfortunately, though, African elephants are an endangered species, and farmers in Africa are having a hard time keeping them away from their crops. The elephants come and steal those crops like a quick snack, and the farmers are trying to use some less than kind means to try and keep them away. So here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, we decided to try and find a better way. Using money from the Disney Conservation Fund, we set up a research program studying the vocalizations of elephants. And during our studies, we learned that elephants are actually afraid of bees and will warn each other when there are bees nearby. Using that information, we developed a fence that stores a beehive on the inside of the fence itself. Farmers can place it around their crops, the elephants will stay away from the bees and warn their friends. And the farmers get the added benefit of being able to get profit off of the honey that the bees make. I'm not sure about you guys, but that sounds like a pretty sweet deal to me. Now, if you're interested in more of that conservation fund or making a donation today too, you can get any merchandise donation here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. The Walt Disney Company also match those donations, dollar for dollar, penny for penny. Every single cent that fund goes towards something on wildlife like this year and this year today. Plus you get a free button out of it, it's a black button. It says conservation.
Nó phải làm vậy để gian cảnh đúng cái cảnh nó rừng, chứ phải bà ở xí đì mấy cậu biết tông thì cậu cái lại giữa rừng cậu biết tông vậy qua em ru không nghe gì hết. Bạn đang ở trong rừng đó, đang ở trong chăn gồ.
Yeah, elephants like to scrape their intestines and clay. They'll break off small chunks and actually eat those chunks of clay. They're super high in minerals like iron, which are great for their diets. It's a lot like nature's multivitamin for them. A few more elephants up ahead of us here too. We're going to go around the corner so you can get a little bit clearer look with less trees in the way. Now you might notice that those elephants' backs are slightly different color than the rest of their skin. Elephants pick up sand, dirt, mud, and water with their trunks and fling it onto their backs. Works as your sunscreen works for humans.
Đó bà nghe những tiếng xích không? Nghe những tiếng xích không? Nó làm những dây xích ngang để những con mấy con thú này khỏi đi trên đường đó đó.
We're going to head on down towards a watering hole. We'll see if we can get a little bit better look at those elephants. They do spend their time by watering holes. Despite common misconception though, elephants don't actually drink directly through their trunks. Instead, they'll use them like a big straw. Elephants can suck up about 5 gallons of water in their trunks at one time on average, then move them to the mouth and drink water through there. That's kind of like sticking a straw into a cup of water.
Phải chạy qua vũng nước cho nó mát. Đi dưới rừng mà chạy đập lầy.
Also coming to your left-hand side is a group of greater flamingos. Greater flamingos are a lighter pink color than their cousins, the lesser flamingo. They get that pink color from their diet. They're not born with it, they're born with a light gray coat. It takes about 1 to 2 years and turn fully pink. A group of flamingos is also called a flamboyance. A flamboyance of flamingos. A group of elephants is a parade. A group of zebra is a dazzle.
Okay.
A group of giraffe is a tower. And a group of wildebeest is a confusion.
1,000, I heard you.
Now we're going to start moving in towards the next section of the reserve. Just to let you guys know, I will not be able to stop for any animals in this next section of the reserve. We are currently introducing a new baby white rhino into the crash, so just for her safety, we are not stopping the trucks unless the animals are in the road. So if you want to take pictures, be sure to have your cameras ready. And if we do see those rhinos, we need you guys to stay especially quiet. It is quite literally her first day out here, so we don't want to scare her away. We're coming up on a mud wall, though. It's a great summer to find those rhinos around nearby. I like to roll around that mud, poke your sensitive skin with it. It works the same as sunscreen and bug repellent works for us humans. Now, white rhinos aren't actually different in color than their cousin the black rhino. They get the name from our best translation, the Afrikaans word "vite." Afrikaans is an offshoot of language Dutch, typically used in some southern regions of Africa. And the word "vite" means wide, and that's a reference to their vowels. Much wider, more rectangular shaped, it helps to graze at grass rather than eating leaves off of bushes and tree branches. Like black rhinos that we saw earlier spend their lives mostly solitary, only made up at nighttime for courtship reasons, whereas white rhinos are very social animals. They live together in groups that we call a crash. A crash of rhinos. We'll keep a lookout for some. We are going to keep our eyes peeled to the left-hand side, though, so we can spot some cheetahs out here. Once we're in the top of this ridge, we'll be back against those trees in the shade. And they are the fastest land animals in the world. We go 0 to 60 miles per hour in just about 3 seconds. But they can only have speed up around 5 seconds to slow down. They're more sprinters than marathoners. Cheetah's claws are also non-retractable, helps keep air while they run, and they use their tails like a rudder to help themselves turn while they're running.
Right here on the right side. One little guy.